Okay, so I finally got myself my first pair of desktop speakers for my setup, and so that's what I'm going to be reviewing. These are Majority's D40s, and I've actually never heard of the company Majority, so then these just kind of had to pop up for me on Amazon, and then when I saw how cheap they were £60, and I needed a pair of desktop speakers for my monitor which doesn't have built-in speakers. I kind of had to pick them up. So you can see it here, that sweet price which got them on my radar in the first place. $59.95. 4.5 stars rating, and they look, at least on the Amazon page, like a really good looking pair of speakers. So let's talk about just that, the looks and the design. And I just gotta say, these companies are doing a pretty damn good job at making their products on Amazon look as good as possible. Like, perfect lighting. Yeah, they just make them look really good. But in reality, the black wood all the way around does look pretty sweet, but this front plate which holds the woofer and tweeter, it just doesn't, it's not black. It's just a really dark gray, which collects a ton of fingerprints, so good luck keeping this thing. Now, it's not like they look bad. I just feel like with how they looked on the Amazon page, first of all, they look really different from what they looked like in the Amazon page in real life. And also, I just think they looked so sweet in that dark jet black. Other than that, you've got this little Majority logo in the bottom. Companies, stop putting your logos in the middle of everything. But this one's pretty clean. This one's one of the cleaner ones that I've seen. It's pretty small. It's not that obtrusive. It weighs around 2.3 kg, which isn't heavy, but it's not light either. So they've clearly paid attention to fit and finish and the look, but there are a couple other things to note as well. First of all, you will not need an amp or a DAC, an external one at least, to drive these speakers, because that's what they are. They're active speakers, they're internally amplified. They also have an optional Bluetooth connection, which, I mean, that's a pretty great idea. Like, if you want to take these to a party or something and you don't want to connect it with a wire, even if you do have still a headphone jack on your phone, Bluetooth is pretty cool. Although I've never really used it, I just connect it via aux to my desktop. And speaking of connection, the manual which comes with this tells you absolutely nothing about how to actually set these up and connect them to your computer. And for someone who hasn't really ever connected two speakers to a computer before, it's kind of hard for me to get my head around it. So let me show you how you do it. First, you're going to want to plug in the right speaker into a power source, then plug in the undetachable wire from the right speaker with the white head into the other speaker, then plug in the included aux cable into the audio source you're listening from. And another cool little feature I found with these, they have a little interface on the side. It's got your mode button for Bluetooth, volume up and down, and the most useful feature, I think, a headphone jack. So if you don't want to plug in your headphones directly into your computer, just go wide in from here. Now, if for whatever reason you don't feel like using that side interface, they do come included with a remote control which controls things like volume, play, pause. But I never really use that because I connect it to a desktop and the volume controls are just like a few keyboard shortcuts away. Okay, Ali, they cost £50. How do they sound? You're probably assuming they sound not that great, and you would be semi-right. They sound okay. And most of the bad is basically just coming from these don't sound too full, aka they don't have too much of a fun sound, aka they don't have too much bass, which is a bummer, especially for me who listens to a lot of music. But I get why that would be kind of useful for someone who video edits or works with audio and needs that, you know, flat sound signature. But I don't need that. I listen to music a lot, so, and that's what I think a lot of other people who are buying this are also going to be doing. And it's not like they have no bass at all, like they definitely do. It might just be my fault in the end that I'm a bass lover and you might not be. So if you're that person who doesn't want that much bass into their audio, this actually might end up sounding pretty great for you. Because apart from that, they have a decent amount of clarity, making them fine, more than fine actually, for movie watching or just watching videos in general, and a lot of that clarity carries through to the mids and the highs. I think their biggest strength is actually just how loud they get. Now, it's not like they get ridiculously loud or anything. It's not like you'll ever need not need these things at max volume, but they are louder than a lot of built-in speakers in a lot of monitors, for example. I actually originally bought these for an iMac, which is right over there, and they replaced those pretty well. They were much louder, and they did have more bass. So there you go. And they check pretty much all the other boxes of some desktop speakers that you may want to be picking up. They have Bluetooth, they have a pretty sweet design, they have decent sound quality, they have a built-in audio interface with a headphone jack on the side, they get pretty loud. I guess the only thing that you can knock them for is their subpar bass. That's about it for my thoughts on these speakers, whether you should pick them up or not. Hopefully you enjoyed, found it useful, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.